Welcome, everybody, to the Gateway Coliseum in St. Louis for the Week 11 Game of the Week between the Queen City Corsairs and the St. Louis Gladiators. Good evening, everyone. I am Mike Daggs. Alongside me at the booth is the Hall of Famer Matt Wilson. And with us tracking live in-game stats tonight is the mathematically gifted Gerald Smith. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports. And for the fans, Matt, how you doing tonight?
Great. How you doing?
Doing excellent, thanks. Matt, tonight's game is unique for one very special reason. For the first time since Season 10, we've got meaningful football for the St. Louis Gladiators this late in the season. St. Louis entered Season 14 after 3 consecutive 2-win seasons, but they've already doubled their win total from those previous seasons, and they're looking to secure a franchise-best record 5-6 tonight. Queen City, on the other hand, they're already in the playoffs, so they're in the hunt for the best seed possible. Does St. Louis have what it takes to get a win over the playoff-bound Corsairs?
Yeah, as you said, St. Louis is playing the best football in franchise history. They definitely have a chance to beat Queen City tonight. Diesel Dawson needs to be the workhorse, while rookie Johnny Pickler needs to be an efficient game manager. However, Queen City has Jeff Duffy, the league sack leader. If the Corsairs can slow down Dawson, Pickler might end up on his back for most of the night. Not good. Which team will come out on top, Mike? There's only one way to find out, and that's on the field.
All right, Matt. Well, let's head down to the field and get this one started. St. Louis will kick. Queen City back deep to receive to get this one started tonight. Judah Dorgan to kick off for St. Louis, and we are underway here in Missouri. Ball taken back at the 8-yard line, returned straight up the middle to the 25-yard line, and that'll give us an opportunity to look at the key players here on the Queen City offense, led by quarterback A.J. Caswell in his 7th season. The fullback Jet Zero wide receivers are Chris Curtis and Stephen Hacker, 2 of the top receivers in the league, by the way. James Matthew Jr. is the tight end, center Freddie Tubbs Jr., tackle Griffin King, and the kicker is James Troll. 3 wide, a tight end, and a running back. Matt's favorite formation in football to get things going. Caswell back to throw, fires to a wide open target straight over the middle, and that one is complete for a gain of 9. And we'll look at the key players here on the St. Louis defense. In his 8th season, safety Colin Douglas. This defensive line, Matt, they are stout. Defensive ends Todd Dubstat, Tony Roberto. Defensive tackles Shane Masters and Franco Sinati. Linebackers Mark Gronick and Chuck Diesel. The corners, Evan Arthur and Drew Reilly. Safeties Freeman Peltier and Nathan Blake and Colin Douglas. Play action here on second down, going deep over the middle, and that one is incomplete, trying to hit the tight end, James Matthew Jr. 3rd down and 1.
You know, Queen City doesn't have a highly paid halfback, and that might hurt him here on 3rd and 1. They should try to get the ball to Jet Zero and get a first down, although this front 7 from St. Louis is pretty intimidating.
They are indeed. They've combined for a grand total of 30 sacks so far this season. Jet Zero, 27 carries, only 39 yards last week. Gets the handoff on this one and gets enough for the first down, carrying it 2 yards up the middle. Fresh set of downs for the Corsairs.
In that scenario, Mike, all you need is 1.
That's true, but they got 2, so they doubled all they needed. Jet Zero, the 8th overall pick in the past off season's draft in the first round. Nearly 200 carries, over 500 yards on the season. Out route is complete. That one went out to Stephen Hacker. Matt, he is the leading receiver in the league, over 1,400 yards and 12 touchdowns. Both of those categories, number 1 in the league.
Dangerous guy. They ran a trips route, and he ran it out, and simple pitch and catch.
Caswell in the gun on 2nd down and 4. 2 tight ends in the formation. Caswell all day, and then he's hit. Took a little bit too long back there in the pocket, Matt. Shane Masters getting the pressure.
Yeah, I thought he was taking a nap. 1,000, 1,000. By the time he hit 1,000, probably time to get rid of the ball.
Well, like I said, this defensive line, you got two highly paid defensive ends and defensive tackles. 30 sacks between them all. Shane Masters accounts for more than 1/3 of that total. 4 wide receivers on the field for 3rd down. Caswell back to throw, short pass over the middle, nearly intercepted, and it gets batted down to the ground. That'll put an end to the drive.
A little bumping going on there by St. Louis, but it wasn't called. Lucky for them. So Queen City's going to be forced to punt.
It's a good defensive stand for St. Louis, trying to get their first 5-win season in franchise history. Coming for the block, can't quite get there. Punt is away. Ricky Matthews punts it deep. That one will be taken at the 22-yard line. Let's look at the impact players here on the St. Louis offense. The number 1 overall pick, quarterback Johnny Pickler. The running back Diesel Dawson having a fantastic season. Sean Harrelson, Nick Finch, and Chase Earl are the wide receivers. And Cody Scott, the number 2 tight end in the SFL in terms of yards. He's actually number 1 in terms of touchdowns, Matt, with 6 as far as tight ends go. Having a great season. 3 wide, split backs in the backfield, Pickler in the gun. Pickler under pressure, ducks the sack, and then gets brought down. This defensive line is nothing to shake a stick at either, Matt. They can get it done quite a bit. Benjamin Garcia with that sack. That is his 5th and a half sack on the season.
Yeah, Pickler's got to be careful. Don't want to end up on your back like that too many times during a drive, or it's almost unconvertible. Need some more quick passes or runs.
2nd down and 16. Pickler in the gun. Pressure coming again. He gets the ball away this time. Gets the sack yardage back and a little bit more up to the 25-yard line. Impact players here on the defense for Queen City. Linebacker Avery King in his 8th season. Jeff Duffy, David Tilley, and Benjamin Garcia are the defensive linemen. The other linebacker, Ajamu Afolabi. Cornerbacks are Nene Ferris and Nacho Sicario. Safeties are Stenzo Woods Jr., Albert Begin, and Kappa Jones. 3rd down and 7. Pickler steps up in the pocket, hit, and down he goes. Sacked again, and guess who, Matt? That is Jeff Duffy, now with 21 sacks on the season. Number 1 in the league and having an absolutely monster of a season. That's going to be one of the players to watch on defense.
Oh, it didn't take long for my highlighted player for Queen City to make an impact, and there he is, the quarterback crusher.
Quarterback crusher, indeed. 20 sacks, now 21. Leads the league. He's averaging 2 sacks a game, Matt. He's got 1, and we still have 7 minutes and 42 seconds to go in the first quarter alone.
Yeah, it's very odd that St. Louis did not run Diesel Dawson at all on that drive.
Yeah, I agree. Diesel Dawson's having a great season. He's got 245 carries, 1,146 yards, which is good for 5th place in the league. I mean, he's definitely one of the best running backs, averaging nearly 5 yards a carry. He's added another 300 yards through the air in the receiving game. So I would expect that we'll see him a little bit more on the next series. I think maybe that sack on 1st down kind of threw off their opening drive plan. Caswell in the gun, high snap, brings it in, going deep down the center of the field, and that one's picked off, intercepted, and taken away by Nathan Blake. No, that's Freeman Peltier, I'm sorry. Freeman Peltier with interception number 5 on the season.
Just sitting back, middle zone, that's pretty easy. Back pedals, grabs the pick, and tackled by Chris Curtis. I don't think Chris Curtis thought he was going to be a major tackler today, but he's already got 1.
Yeah, he does indeed have 1 tackle on the day. Make sure we log that stat. And right on cue, Matt Diesel Dawson running up the middle, and he's getting past midfield all the way up to the 40. Inside the 40-yard line, tackled at the 38-yard line. Matt, I think you might have been right. They needed to use Diesel Dawson.
Yeah, I mean, he exploded through the line. Let's take a look at the replay here. Great blocking by the O-line. Oof.
Oh.
He just runs over for just everybody.
Albert Begin got absolutely trucked, and then when he got up and tried to chase him down, he got tripped up and fell down again. Albert Begin down into the grass twice on the same play. That's terrible.
That's not done. Be nice to the guy. I mean, he tried.
Poor Albert. Pickler throws on the run, tipped in the air, and that one's incomplete. Trying to hit his tight end, Cody Scott. Couldn't haul it in. 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, that's what
I more
Queen City
meant,
wants to do.
I more meant, I felt bad for Albert. He got up and he was trying to run and got tripped up, went down a second time. And
I know what that's like. Just can't get up.
Poor Matt. 2nd down and 10, Pickler in the gun. 3 wide, split out to his left. Pickler, quick pass over the middle. That one is complete. Cody Scott catches it. I thought he had the first down, but they're going to mark him just shy. 3rd down and inches. Probably a good time to bring out Diesel Dawson again, Matt. We've only seen him the one run.
Should be plenty fresh. St. Louis is just gonna need to block out the Queen City front. Watch out for Duffy, Tilly, and Garcia.
Power I formation, 5 on the line for Queen City. Make that 6. Almost pushing his teammate offside. Dawson takes the handoff up the middle, gets what he needs and more, all the way up to the 23-yard line. Gain of 5 and a fresh set of downs.
Yeah, good job with Dawson getting skinny there. He didn't just run into the back of his line. He just kind of went sideways, got the yards he needed, and the drive continues for St. Louis.
1st and 10 from the Queen City 23-yard line. Dawson takes a handoff again and trucks through a defender. He sent that man flying 4 yards, Matt.
Does he use the force? Looks like he
He's
pushed that
using
guy about
something.
5 yards.
My goodness. That looked absolutely brutal.
This is what they need, though. That keeps the pressure off Pickler, keeps the drives going. And only throw when either Dawson's exhausted or the yardage is more than, I'd say, 4 yards.
Offset eye on 2nd down and 4. Pickler to throw. Pressure coming, steps up in the pocket, gets it away. Wide open, Cody Scott catches it and gets tackled down at the 7-yard line. Brought down by Afalabi. 1st down and goal from the 7.
St. Louis kept in the 2 backs as his extra blockers, gave Pickler plenty of time to scan the field and find his open man. So good job schematically from St. Louis there.
Dawson takes the handoff, runs up the middle, carrying defenders on his back up to the 3-yard line. Tackled by Avery King, one of the legendary linebackers in this league. But 2nd down and goal from the 3. St. Louis knocking on the door.
Yeah, they're going to have to probably stop Diesel Dawson 2 more times if they want to hold St. Louis to a field goal. But this defensive front looks mighty inviting to run on to me.
Split backs in the backfield, 4 on the line. Pickler under center. Dawson gets the handoff, runs towards the end zone, and he's knocked down just shy. Matt, they're going to spot it at the goal line. How do you spot it at the goal line and not call it in?
It's inside the 1. But does Queen City have a heavy defensive set? If they don't, they come out in 4-3.
And they do, it looks
nickel,
like.
It's going to be, oh no.
Yeah. Power I formation for St. Louis. Only 4 guys on the line for the Corsairs. Dawson gets the handoff and runs. Oh, no, he gets stopped. He gets stopped. Yeah, I thought he was going to run it untouched. He got stopped at the goal line again, Matt. In fact, it's a small loss on the play.
He's for some reason, he decided to string it outside, and that's not what you want to do when you have all those quick DBs, standing 4 yards away from the end zone. They're just going to close in eventually.
Oh,
So
painful. Painful end to the drive. Dorgan on the field for the field goal try. This one should be a chip shot. Only 17 yards out. Kick is up, and it is good. St. Louis, Matt, they're on the board first, but it's not what they wanted. It's probably not what they thought they were going to get. How will Queen City respond? We'll find out after the break. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. Welcome back to the Gateway Coliseum. I'm Mike Daggs, joined in the booth by Matt Wilson. Gerald Smith with us on stats. Cameron Irvine producing the game for us this evening. You're watching the Simulation Football League Week 11 Game of the Week. So far, it's not a high-scoring game, Matt, but it's been a pretty fun one.
These teams have gone back and forth. No one really, I would say St. Louis blew a golden opportunity there with a nickel defense, and Diesel Dawson just handed off on a dive. I think he's going to score more often than not, but he got stuck, went wide, and got tackled by the host of DBs.
Queen City back out onto the field on offense. Caswell under center, hands the ball off to Jet Zero. Zero takes it up the middle for a gain of 4. And Matt, we've talked about it all the time. Points off turnovers. You know, they had the opportunity there to get 7 off of that pick. And, you know, talking about the St. Louis Gladiators in particular and what's different about them this season from seasons past, well, looking at their defense, Matt, they're number 1 in turnover differential in a plus 12. You know, they pick the ball off all the time, and Johnny Pickler just doesn't throw a lot of picks. He's best in the league. That carry taken up the middle for a short gain will bring up a 3rd and 2.
You know, it's good to not live up to your last name. Yeah. Draft a quarterback named Pickler, you're like, oh.
You're rolling the dice there a little bit, aren't you? When you draft a quarterback named Pickler, it's like, wait a second.
But he's probably heard that since high school, so he's
more than likely.
He had to overcome.
Caswell, short pass over the middle to James Matthew Jr. That one's complete for a fresh set of downs up to midfield.
That was a little bit awkward looking. There might have been an injury in that play. Good throw to the tight end, a little behind him, and then Sicario pulls him down from behind, and looked like he might have pulled something. He kind of laid there for a minute, but got up. Everyone's okay.
Yeah, it was actually Nathan Blake with the tackle. A little slow to a little slow to get up there, but he got up. Oh, and Caswell's going to take it himself. Matt, we've seen you do that a grand total of never. Runs up the middle for a gain of 2, 2nd down and 8.
You don't want the old QB roll of death where he just kind of rolls over flat on his back, and you're like, nope, I shouldn't have done that.
No, Matt, you're a Hall of Fame quarterback for a reason. You need to stay upright, and you do so by not running. Caswell's a bit of a wild man, so Zero takes that handoff up the middle. No gain, stuffed right at the line, 3rd down and 8.
You could say he got 0 on that play.
He did. He also lived up to his name on that play, Matt.
You got a Pickler and a 0. Yeah, there's all sorts of puns to be had in this game. We'll see how it develops.
It's a good thing that we don't have Andy Hamilton calling this game then.
Oh,
Andy
boy.
Hamilton, fun with puns. I think it's a children's book he wrote once. 3rd down and 8. Caswell back to throw. Fires over the middle, complete. Moving the chains yet again. 1st down up to the 39-yard line.
Running slants. Lots of time for Caswell. You know, he's pretty efficient himself, and he needs to stay that way.
Jet Zero takes the handoff. Met right at the line again, Matt. They've done pretty well defensively against those runs. And, you know, I mentioned it earlier, Jet Zero had 27 carries last week in the loss to Atlanta. And in that loss, Matt, those 20 cited him only 39 yards.
Yeah, that's not going to do it if you're Queen City. You need him to average at least 3 yards a carry.
Split backs in the backfield on 2nd down. Caswell to throw. Fires right into the hands of the defender. Can't bring that one in. That's Mark Gronek. Matt, that'll bring us to the end of the 1st quarter. That could have easily been another takeaway for St. Louis. 3rd down and 10 after this break. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports, and for the fans, stay with us. And welcome back for the start of the second quarter. Queen City Corsairs in possession of the ball. 3rd down and 10. A.J. Caswell, Matt, 21 touchdowns, 20 picks on the season. Already has 1 tonight, nearly had 2. Drops back to pass on this one. Throws over the middle to James Matthew Jr. Complete for a gain of 8, but that's not going to be enough. That'll bring an end to the drive. And that was actually Jones Branch, one of the backup wide receivers. From the 31-yard line, James Peanuts Troll will probably come on out and try a long field goal.
I was going to say they got into field goal range, though, and that was important. Try to tie this one up. Wow.
This one will be from 48 yards. Troll 27 of 30 on the season. Number 1 in the league in both of those categories. Is a long of 52. Ooh. This one on the way, and it is good from, gosh, that could have been good from 58, I think, Matt. Holy cow. Did you see that thing go through the uprights?
Well, we'll see it again.
Look at it.
Yeah, it probably
like
had
halfway up
7
there.
yards.
Holy smokes. Something to keep in mind as the game progresses. 3-3 the score, 10-18 to go in the first half. Matt Troll missed 2 field goals. He's 27 of 30. He missed 2 field goals in his first game, and he hadn't missed one again since up until last week. He missed one. That was his 3rd miss on the season. But 27 makes, 30 attempts. Number 1 in the league in both categories. Already has 1 tonight. The playoff picture, the number 1 seed Atlanta Swarm, followed by the Vancouver Legion at number 2. Top 2 seeds will face the 2 wild card winners. Queen City Corsairs right below them at number 3 at 7-3. A win tonight would give them the same record as Vancouver, fighting for that top spot. Well, the top 2, I should say. Tied this one up. Pickler back to throw, out route to the left, and that one is hauled in. Complete to Nick Finch. Looking at the teams in the bottom half of the playoff picture, you got the Sparrows, Wildcats, Storm, and Aztecs all currently sitting in the top 10. The top 10 teams get in. Sitting just outside that, the Nightwings and Desperados. And look, Matt, 5-6, 5-6, 5-6, 5-6. If St. Louis is to win tonight, they'll also be 5-6. So I don't envy the commissioner trying to figure out those tiebreakers. Pickler hands the ball off to Dawson. Dawson not touched until he gets past the first down marker. Brought down at the 35-yard line, 1st and 10.
Yeah, that's where they've had success, kind of leading with Dawson. And on the last drive, he broke a big one. This one was not quite as big, but still, anytime you can pick up a 1st down, you're a happy camper.
First down and 10 from their own 35-yard line. Pickler back to throw. Pressure coming again. Dumps it down. Complete to Dawson. Dawson gains 4 on the play. It'll be a 2nd down and 6. And, you know, Matt, one of the things that you and I noticed while we were preparing for tonight's game, Johnny Pickler actually the most sacked quarterback in the league. Why do you think that is?
Because he doesn't throw picks.
Because he's careful with that ball. You know, doesn't want to make the dangerous throw. So he'd rather hold on to it and take the sack than throw it and have it picked off, which is a lot more veteran move than you'd see from a rookie. And look at this, Diesel Dawson straight up the middle again. Another huge run all the way up to the 41-yard line.
Yeah, Queen City's not stacking the box at all, and that's the result. Look at that fullback block right there. Beautiful. Freed him up, and then Dawson does the rest.
First down and 10 from the Queen City 41-yard line. Diesel Dawson taking the handoff again. This time hit right at the line by Avery King. Matt Diesel Dawson, we called him the Diesel Engine. 245 carries, 1,146 yards on the season. Nearly 5 yards a carry, 7 touchdowns. He even got nearly 300 yards receiving as well. 5th best yardage total in the league.
They're going to need every yard.
Pickler, very short drop and a quick throw. That one's caught for a first down. Yeah, that was a really good quick slant pass to Sean Harrelson.
I'd say be a pass rush, right? A one-step drop slant. Wow. Almost hit his fellow receiver there.
Yeah, Chase Earl was right in the way. It almost looked like it might have been a little bit of a pick play, but he picked his own man instead.
Not illegal.
It's not illegal to pick your teammate, but you know, probably not advisable either. Pickler, deep drop on this one, stepping up, and there he is again. Jeff Duffy, sack number 2. He's met his quota for the night, Matt. He can be done.
I don't think he's done.
I don't think he's done either. He's going to average a pick a quarter tonight, I think.
Just gets around the tackle there, and that's what you don't want. Longer passing situations, and now Pickler in a god-awful 2nd and 17. He needs to either run it to Dawson, get 5 or 6, or get a short completion. I mean, he could bomb it deep, but I don't think that's his style.
Pickler back to throw, going deep down the left-hand side, complete for the touchdown. Chase Earl in the end zone.
His name is Earl, and he catches touchdowns.
That's it.
I said Pickler doesn't like to go deep. Well, like commentator Curse just completely beating the Queen City defense. I don't know where the safeties were, but they were not doing their job on that.
Looked like a zone defense, I guess. And the linebacker off a lobby kind of got caught napping a little bit on that deep corner route. St. Louis with the first touchdown of the night. Extra point is up, and it is good. St. Louis takes a 10-3 lead here at home. We're going to take a short break, come back on the other side, see what AJ Caswell and company can do to respond. You are watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and For the Fans. And welcome back to Gateway Coliseum, where the St. Louis Gladiators have a 10-3 lead over the 7-3 Queen City Corsairs, the playoff-bound Corsairs, Matt. But the St. Louis Gladiators fighting for their playoff lives. Basically the playoffs start right now, Matt. They need to win tonight. They need to win next week. They need to just keep on winning.
Just like Charlie Sheen, just keep winning.
And Matt, the last time these teams met, it was the biggest margin of victory ever in league history. The Queen City Corsairs put up 62 points to St. Louis's 3. But St. Louis, different team this time around, Matt. They've put up 10 already tonight. And if you look at the key players from both of those teams, Ash Odom and Dylan Aseel, Odom with a great game, Aseel with not so great of a game. Neither of those players are on this roster. It's two totally different looks now. Out route to Chris Curtis, finally getting him involved for a gain of 9.
Probably a good idea to get your receivers involved with some quick timing patterns. Try to pick up some short yardage and then go deep. As when Caswell went deep that one time, tested the defense, didn't go so well for him.
St. Louis fighting hard for this one. Anybody that's been on St. Louis for any length of time can tell you they have never beaten the Queen City Corsairs in franchise history. This is their 5th meeting. Queen City's won them all. So this game means a lot to St. Louis in more ways than 3, quite frankly. You know, they're trying to win to see if they can get the 5th win for the first time in franchise history. They want to keep their playoff hopes alive. They want to redeem themselves from a 62-3 loss the last time these teams played, and they want to beat the Queen City Corsairs for the first time ever. A lot of things on the line for St. Louis. Swing route is good for a gain of 8 up the left-hand side. 2nd down and 2.
A good use of the halfback there. He's not highly touted, but 8 yards is 8 yards. Use what you got.
Yeah. Travis Dullworth getting it done there. 2nd down and 2. Almost up to midfield. 5.5 to go in the first quarter. Split backs in the backfield. Caswell under center. Zero takes the handoff, gets what he needs for the first down, but that is it. Defensive backfield for the Gladiators, stuffing him right at the line.
Yeah, but that's what they need 0 for. That's to pick up those tough 1 or 2 yards and keep your drive going.
Same formation for the Corsairs. A little bit heavier presence on defense in the box for St. Louis, and that time Zero's able to get a bigger chunk of yards, gain 7 up the middle, 2nd down and 3.
Yeah, he's exhausted. I think that's going to give him a rest here. Takes the ball and just lowers a shoulder. That guy just imploded.
A.J. Caswell, 61 yards and a pick. That's all he has to speak of so far tonight, but Maddie's a seasoned veteran in this league. I would imagine we'll see a little bit more out of him shortly. Out route to the top, Chris Curtis with the reception, steps out of bounds at the 38. Fresh set of downs for the Corsairs.
We can't forget about Freddie Tubbs and Griffin King on Queen City side, the highly paid O-linemen. They might help to mitigate some of that St. Louis pressure. As Caswell is one of the least sacked quarterbacks in the league, probably for a reason.
4 wide receivers and a tight end on the field, going deep down the middle, and that one is caught.
Oh,
and
no.
A late hit, I think, on Chris Curtis.
They both went for Curtis.
Yeah, I think this might be a little bit of a ticky-tack call, but we'll see what it is.
Yep.
And they do indeed call the late hit. Late hit against Freeman Peltier. I don't know about that, Matt.
I guess when you're the logo, you get special calls. You can't hit the logo. Look at this. I mean, he landed on his legs. I wouldn't say that's the worst situation. He was in the midair when, what's he supposed to do, teleport?
I don't know. Well, first down and goal from the 8. They gave him the penalty anyway. So now inside the 10-yard line, half the distance to the goal was the result. Caswell under center, hands the ball off to 0-0. Met right at the line again. I feel like I've seen that exact play 14 times now.
I think we'll see it
by Chuck Diesel. We very well might.
That's the running game. It is 0 out of that heavy set. And he needs to get 3 or 4 yards. You got nothing there, and that's going to set up Queen City a tough situation. It's hard to pass close to the goal line, again, because the field's so compact. So let's see if they can hit maybe an out, get half of that or more, set up 0 for a short run.
5 wide. Caswell under pressure, avoids the first sack and can't avoid the second. Down he goes. brought back all the way at the 15-yard line, and a little bit of taunting there.
You're like, help me up, bro. No, let your teammate do it.
He's not helping him up.
Oh, I mean, I guess it gives you more field to throw a deep ball, but yeah, pretty bad news for Queen City there.
Dubstat had a sack last week, has another one tonight. 5 wide again.
Deep corner out, maybe?
Caswell looks, fires towards the end zone, and that one's picked off. Second interception of the night for Caswell. That one taken away by Drew Reilly, his 5th interception of the season.
Mistake compounded by mistake. You get the 0 or 1 yard gain by Jet 0, then the sack, forcing you to throw a deep ball, and then you get the pick. So it's just bad after bad after bad for the Queen City offense there.
We'll be back after this to see what Johnny Pickler and company can do. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and For the Fans. And welcome back. First down and 10 from their own 20-yard line after a pick in the end zone from A.J. Caswell. Pickler under center, short drop, hit as he releases the ball. That one is incomplete. For those of you who are viewing for the first time, what are you watching? Simulation Football League is the first controllerless esport allowing you, the viewer, to participate in all the action on the field without a controller in your hands. Visit simulation.football for details on how to get started with the team and in the league. Jeff Duffy, 2 sacks on the night, and he's got Pickler in his sights again already.
He always has him in his sights.
Pickler hands the ball off to Dawson. Dawson met right at the line. No gain for him on that one. Matt, these two quarterbacks, we got the grizzled vet versus the young gunslinger. 20 interceptions for A.J. Caswell, now 22. Johnny Pickler, the only quarterback in the league with single-digit interceptions still at this point, and he's a rookie. So, two different perspectives here.
But 33 sacks taken, that's a lot of sacks.
That is a
Plus
lot
2.
of sacks. Pickler
Oh,
throw
no.
on 3rd down and 10. They'll add another sack to that total. Down he goes back to the 13-yard line. That'll put an end to the drive for St. Louis. Brought down.
Well, that's a good way to respond for Queen City coming out of this break.
2 minutes to go. Queen City will get the ball back on the other side. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports. It's For the Fans. And welcome back.
Here I come, Butter. I'm coming. I'm gonna block the punt.
Punting out of his own end zone. Punt is away. Fair catch called for at the 42-yard line. Excellent starting field position for A.J. Caswell and his offense.
Yeah, that's just what the doctor ordered for him. They threw a pick in the red zone. They're close to scoring range. Queen City can't, keep throwing away these great opportunities.
Splitbacks in the backfield to start this drive. 0 taking the handoff, and it looked like he was fired out of a rocket, but well defended by the Gladiators. Gain of only 4, 2nd down and 6, and less than 2 minutes to go, Matt, and St. Louis will get the ball on the other side of the half.
Yeah, so Queen City wants to run some clock, get some points, and try to close this lead or tie it going into halftime.
Caswell 5-step drop, checks it down to Dulworth in the backfield. Dulworth is not able to get much of anything. Gain of only 1. They're down in 5. Are you surprised that St. Louis isn't calling a timeout here, or is it too close to field goal range?
I don't know. Maybe they just want to make St. Louis make their own mistakes. I don't know. They would hate to give Queen City. They would hate to give Queen City free timeouts if they get this first.
Caswell back to throw. Checks it down to Dulworth again. Dulworth is wrapped up and tackled at the 33-yard line, and there is the timeout. But surprise, surprise, it was called by Queen City, not St. Louis. Kind of weird.
Are they going to go for it? I mean, why would you do that?
Not exactly sure. I don't know. Wanted to give James Troll all sorts of time to prepare for a lengthy field goal.
Man, I would have tried the offense out, at least try to draw them off sides. I guess, they called the timeouts. So they didn't take the penalty, so I guess that's no good. I don't know. That's a whole messed up series of events right there.
Yeah, I saw the timeout. I was expecting the timeout. I just thought it'd be St. Louis. Anyway, James Troll from 50 yards out from the right hash. Kick is on its way. It is good from 50, and they close the gap a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it could be 9-10 if at worst if they hadn't thrown the pick, Caswell, but closes the gap, but gives St. Louis just a sliver of time because they called the timeout.
64 viewers watching on the twitch.tv/FTF Next page and in the chat. Appreciate everybody watching wherever you are. If you'd like to get involved in the chat, you can head over to twitch.tv/FTF Next. There's players, coaches, owners, fans, all sorts of people in that chat, including one of the co-owners of the St. Louis Gladiators, Colin, who goes by Football Dude 93 in the chat, and he says, "Hi, Mike and Matt." Hi, Colin. Thanks for watching your team play. Chase Earl brings it up to the 27-yard line, and that is where Pickler will come back out onto the field. How aggressive are they going to be, Matt? 44 seconds and 3 timeouts.
Not aggressive. But maybe Dawson could still break one, and then they could use their timeout, then take a deep. Well, I was wrong again.
Pickler says, yeah, watch this. Throws an out route, tackled inbounds, 2nd down and 3, and they're just going to let the clock run.
And he got lucky. The pocket was collapsing, and that ball had a chance to be picked off. Luckily, it had just enough velocity on it to make the difference. So
the defender was closing on that one, it looked like.
I think they're like, okay, we took our one shot. It doesn't look so hot. Let's just give it to Dawson. Maybe he'll score. Maybe he'll break one off right here.
Well, Dawson has had a big run already tonight. 37-yarder up the left sideline, going the same direction, I believe. Dawson trying to break another one away and gets up to the 41-yard line. They'll go no huddle, but 3 seconds left. They'll have to call a timeout.
I don't think are they going to wheel out the Hail Mary? I don't know. They might be just out of range. We'll see. Going to be a long throw, over 65 yards. Guess we'll see how much arm he really has.
Yeah, I was going to say, does Pickler have the arm strength to heave it downfield? You've thrown a couple of Hail Marys in your day, Matt.
Most of them end up as picks, but I had one, and that's all that matters.
Anytime I see you in the Hail Mary formation, Matt, I'm thinking, well, set sail for fail. But every once in a while, you make it. Pickler back to throw, pressure coming, actually gets the pass off deep downfield, and that one's picked. Intercepted. Yeah, well, a pick for Pickler. That's pick number 10 on the season, but that one was just a heave of hope there. It didn't really stand much of a chance.
Looks like he was
Jack Thomas with the pick.
Looked like Thomas was running the receiver out. I mean, look at this beautiful throw to Thomas. Boom, touchdown. Oh, wait. Team.
Yeah, that's one of those picks that's
beauty.
It counts against the stat line, but he was just trying to see what he could get done there. So 6-10 the score at the half. St. Louis Gladiators with the lead. We'll take a look at the stats and highlights from the first half of play. Matt, your thoughts on the first half of action so far?
It's been a tight matchup contest, but it's the turnovers for Queen City. They had a chance to put 3 or 7 on the board, and points at a premium at this point.
And those
And
sacks, though, Matt, I think the sacks are a part of the story as well. That's what's helping keep Queen City in it despite the turnovers.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, right? They have the sacks that help them keeping them in this game, but their offense really isn't helping them out too much. So the offense has got to get in gear if they want to, take the win home. And St. Louis is pretty much playing within themselves. They haven't done anything too crazy, but I'm sure they're happy to have the lead at the half at home against
AJ Caswell. Oh, go ahead.
just against such a good team like Queen City.
Absolutely. They won the first quarter. They won the first half. So just have to stay in the lead for the second half and see if they can pull off their 5th victory here this season. AJ Caswell, 11 of 17, just under 100 yards in the first half. Johnny Pickler, only 8 of 11, just not throwing it all that much, about 89 yards. These two quarterbacks, very similar stats in the first half, except Pickler's got a touchdown, and he does have a pick, but it was that pick at the last second. Caswell with a couple of picks, including that one right there, which was in the end zone. Looking at the drive summaries, Queen City got things going first with a 7-play, 17-yard drive. They had to punt, quick 3-and-out for St. Louis, and then interception from A.J. Caswell on Queen City's next drive. Set up a 10-play, 74-yard drive, resulting in a field goal for St. Louis. Queen City would respond with a 10-play drive of their own with a field goal to tie it back up. St. Louis then getting the first only touchdown of the ball game, an 8-play, 77-yard drive, resulting in a 37-yard touchdown pass from Johnny Pickler. Another interception and then another punt. Queen City would have a 4-play, 8-yard drive for a field goal to bring us to where we are here, 6-10, coming out of halftime. Getting the third quarter started, James Troll has the ball teed up to kick off to Chase Earl. Earl 2 yards deep in his own end zone. He will bring this one out, and he's going to run right past a couple of his blockers. Gets up to the 22-yard line, where St. Louis will get things going here on offense once again. Matt, the number of sacks that Pickler has taken so far this season, it's not a record, but the most sacks taken in a season was a record that's actually owned by the St. Louis Gladiators. The former quarterback Dylan Aseel back in season 11 got sacked 56 times, and Pickler on his way to that amount, especially if he stands that long in the pocket, but found his target, so I guess you can't argue with results. Cody Scott, nice reception for 14 yards, first down and 10 from the 36.
Yeah, you think it's too much time, but look at that pocket's clean. So just find the hole in the zone, get your completion, first down, keep the drive going. Now maybe get Dawson involved.
Dawson, 11 carries, 91 yards. He's averaging over 8 yards a carry. That 37-yarder that he had certainly helped improve that average. Split backs in the backfield for this first down. Pickler will throw, short pass over the middle. That one's broken up, in and out of the hands of his intended target, Nick Finch.
Yeah, that was just well defended by Queen City. Back to the drawing board on this play.
Second down and 10 from their own 36-yard line as you get a look at Nacho Sicario patrolling the defensive backfield. Power I formation on second down. Queen City showing blitz. Dawson takes the handoff, running off tackle to the left, trucks through his first defender and drags the second one with him past the first down marker. Fresh set of downs for the Gladiators.
Last time Dawson strung it out, it ended in disaster when he was near the goal line. This time he strungs it out and breaks a couple tackles, and it looked like Queen City had the box stacked, but good call running it to the outside with the middle. It's just there's nowhere to go.
Defensive end David Tilley had to chase him down from behind. Otherwise, I think he might have been gone on that one, Matt. Dawson taking a bit of a breather as Pickler is alone in the backfield in the gun. Stepping up, down he goes. He could have used a blocker on that one. The fifth sack of the night. David Tilley, who made the tackle on the last play, gets a tackle on that one too.
Well, he ripped right past this guy. and looked like death to me.
5 sacks for the Queen City defense. Pickler to throw. And nobody looking on that one. I think Pickler might have thrown that a little bit sooner than he wanted to. Matt, does that happen to quarterbacks sometimes when you keep getting sacked and you start to hear those footsteps?
Yeah, it looked like he was all out of sorts on that. That might have been a good time to call a run play. Let him gather himself a bit before you throw him back out there to the Wolves. And this is right where Queen City wants St. Louis. I mean, I know they threw the deep ball earlier, but this is not their style.
5 wide for the Gladiators. Pickler going deep, and that one's incomplete. Nearly caught, but went into the hands of Cody Scott. He got hit real hard, and out it goes, Matt.
Yeah, I thought that was caught, so it was a good break up there. And now Queen City did their job, the defense. They get the ball back on offense, and the offense needs to produce. They need to put up or shut up.
6 plays and a punt on this drive for St. Louis. Not able to capitalize off of starting with the ball in the third quarter. Now it'll be up to Queen City to see if they can narrow that gap a little bit more, or if they can finally get into the end zone and take the first lead of the night. We'll find out after this break. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and For the Fans. And welcome back to the Gateway Coliseum in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm Mike Daggs in the booth with the Hall of Fame quarterback of the Mexico City Aztecs, Matt Wilson. With us tonight, tracking our live stats, is Gerald Smith. Queen City starting back off on offense on their own 31-yard line. A.J. Caswell under center. Caswell takes a short drop deep down the left-hand side to Chris Curtis, and that one's incomplete. Well defended. Second down.
Yeah, great shot there. I thought Curtis had that one in the bag, but St. Louis has been really disruptive.
Yeah, that was one that Curtis almost always catches. Very reliable receiver, one of the top receivers in the league. Second down and 10 from their own 31. Caswell hands the ball off to Zero. Zero's able to gain 2 yards. We'll bring up a third down and 8.
Yeah, not much help there on that play. Zero's had a couple good runs, but as a primary runner, kind of underwhelming for your offense. And they've just been set up on third and long again and again and again, and they haven't been able to deliver.
We'll see what they can do on this one. 4 wide receivers and the tight end, James Matthew Jr. on the field. Caswell going towards Curtis' side again, and that one's intercepted. Picked off at midfield. Nobody out in front of him to the 2015, tackled by Chris Curtis with his second tackle of the night. Tackled at the 14-yard line. Oof. Another great pick for this St. Louis defense. This one taken away by Evan Arthur.
He'll kind of go to a corner route, but Arthur defended that perfectly, and I thought he might score. Good thing for Curtis. Things are definitely tilting. I
didn't think Curtis was going to be able to chase him down from behind. Arthur already has a pick 6 on the season. Matt, the secondary here has a combined 4 pick 6s on the season. Drew really actually has 2. He's the only defensive back to have 2 pick 6s so far this season. Got to watch out for him. And Diesel Dawson met right at the line by this stout set of defensive linemen. Benjamin Garcia with the tackle.
Queen City's defense has got to be getting frustrated. What more do we need to do here? You keep giving the offense the ball in decent field position, and they just keep turning it over.
Second down and 10, and yeah, I think personally, Matt, I'd like to see Diesel Dawson even back there as an extra blocker for Pickler, but Pickler alone in the backfield. Quick pass into traffic, somehow caught. Cody Scott getting it for 9.9 yards, 3rd and inches. And that was Chase Earl with the catch.
Earl's had some big catches in this game, and 3rd and inches sets him up in Dawson territory, I would think. Queen City stopped him once on the goal line. This is another kind of situation where they need to string him out and tackle him in the backfield.
Pickler to throw, pressure coming, down he goes. Jeff Duffy, sack number 3.
That's a head scratcher of a play call. You got Dawson back there, and you've got one of the greatest pass rushes in the SFL right now when you decide to throw the ball. Lots of
23
missed
sacks.
opportunities.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I mean, I mean, they had the one touchdown that was stuffed right at the line, the would-be touchdown, I should say, right at the goal line early on in the first quarter, and now great scoring opportunity, more points off turnovers. But instead of having 14, Matt, they have 6 from the points off turnovers. They had 3 more onto the total, though, and, gets them up to a lead of 13-6 in this one. We're going to take another short break. We'll be back after this. Stay with us. And welcome back, Matt. We talk about those points off turnovers and how important they are to a team winning a ball game. 2 field goals instead of what could have been 2 touchdowns. What do you think about that?
It's disappointing, but I mean, Queen City's offense has been really anemic so far. Anytime they pretty much try to beat pass, it's been deflected, intercepted, broken up. So they need to show that they can hit a big play, because it's not like Jet Zero is going to bust out a 80-yard run. He's not, BDG Hollywood or anything.
No, Jet Zero is no BDG. I think if we were to take a survey, that would be a unanimous vote. Offset eye, nothing against Jet Zero, just totally different players. Offset eye formation, Caswell to throw. Sidearms that one, and that one's complete. Man, I was just about to call him out. Stephen Hacker, that is only his 2nd catch on the night. I was about to say you should put him on that milk carton.
Luckily not necessary, because here he is.
There he is, right on cue. Stephen Hacker with his 2nd catch. We've got 2 of the top receivers in the league, Matt. Stephen Hacker at number 1 with 1,439 yards, followed by some other greats, Ken Gossett, Stephen Bush, Grayson Willis, and Brett Killian. Not on the screen at number 6, Chris Curtis. It's a top 5 graphic, so, we only can have the 5. But Chris Curtis up there in the top 10 receivers, both in this game, combined for barely over 50 yards so far today. A short pass over the middle to James Matthew Jr. Good for a first down in St. Louis territory.
I saw a linebacker go flying. He's trying to knock the ball down for St. Louis, but not to be. And this is what Queen City needs to do. Move the ball through the air. Don't set up those tough 3rd and longs. Try to, eke out 4 or 5 yards or more through the passing. Oh, here we go.
Caswell, he's trying to run again. Matt, that went about as well as it would have if you ran the ball. Gain of nothing, 2nd down and 10.
I mean, I might have fumbled it, so it's
That's true. At least Caswell held on.
But if you can't run the ball in the SFL, that's usually a big problem. Not big yards, just 3 or 4 yards at a time.
Caswell in the gun, looking to throw. Pressure coming. Throws it off his back foot. Picked off again. Interception number 4. Taken away, this time all the way back up to the 36-yard line. This St. Louis defense is just feasting tonight, Matt. Feasting.
Now, that's his 4th interception, right? And how many times has Pickler been sacked? 5?
It's actually interception number 5. It was the 5th pick that Caswell has thrown.
But see, there you see the kind of the inverse between Pickler and Caswell, right? Pickler's been sacked a ton, but not thrown any. The 1 pick, which really doesn't count. Caswell hasn't been sacked that much, but guess what? His 5 picks are far more devastating than the 5 sacks I think that Pickler is taking tonight.
Pickler back to throw, fires over the middle. That one is caught, hauled in all the way up at midfield. Good for a first down. And Matt, I think at this point, they really need to capitalize even more off these turnovers. They can't just be going for 3 here. They really need to be shooting for 7.
I don't know. Queen City can't get out of their own way. 3 might be like 21 at this point. I mean, I haven't seen Queen City hit a really big play all game long.
Split backs in the backfield, 3 receivers. Diesel Dawson hit at the line, but sidesteps the tackle. Only able to gain 2. Will bring up a 2nd down and 8.
And again, the Queen City defense needs to step up. They need to sack Pickler. Make him eat those sacks.
2nd and 7 from the Storm, 47 yards.
Power I formation here on 2nd down and 8. Dawson taking the handoff, getting pushed back a little bit by his center. But he's able to gain a couple of yards. Will bring up a 3rd down and 5.
And again, 2 kind of unspectacular runs by Dawson, but puts his team in a very much more manageable 3rd and 5, where Queen City's just 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. So much harder to convert.
Empty backfield for the Gladiators here on 3rd down. Low snap. Pickler takes it, throws it over the middle. Caught once again by Chase Earl. Another big catch for Earl, the leading receiver on either of these teams tonight. 4 receptions, 65 yards, and the only touchdown scored in this ballgame.
Pickler almost got sacked again, got the ball off just in time. I thought it might have affected his throw, but he threw a great ball, and man, got to be getting nervous if you're a Corsairs fan. Almost in field goal range again.
Pickler, short drop. Lofty pass, and that one's caught. He just kind of floated that one. Beautiful touch on that throw. Complete up to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, they don't always have to be bullets. You know, he sees his open man, fits it right over the look at that, fits it right over the defense. You don't see that kind of touch a lot in the SFL. Usually quarterbacks tend to kind of, you know, throw it more on a line and it hits the back of a defender's head sometimes. But that's a great throw by Pickler, and man, he sets his team up in great position here. You know, run Dawson here, 1st down, see what happens.
And that was Trellis Blanton, the fullback, with the catch. You don't see him getting involved in the pass game all that often, but he got it done there. Dawson takes a handoff, trying to get through this defensive line. He does. Stiff arms in. Into the end zone he goes. Diesel Dawson, touchdown St. Louis, and they're finally able to capitalize with a touchdown off of a pick.
Man, that's why you keep handing the ball off to Dawson. It looked like he was going nowhere fast, but finds a lane. Look at that. See, goes outside, back inside. And oof, that's just a mean stiff arm finishing off the play. There's no more Corsairs between him and the end zone. Not an easy touchdown, but I mean, once he got rid of that second guy, it was all over.
Yeah,
and now Queen City is really in trouble.
Cappa Jones was the last line of defense for the Corsairs, and Diesel Dawson showing that stiff arm that he can do and just shoving Jones down into the turf. Judah Dorgan on for the extra point try. High snap is brought down, kick is up, and it's good. Don't look now, Matt. The St. Louis Gladiators have a 14-point lead over the Queen City Corsairs. Queen City beating them 62-3 the last time these teams met. Not this time. Gladiators out in front. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports for the fans. Welcome back to Gateway Coliseum, St. Louis, Missouri. Gladiators 20, Corsairs 6. Trying to go for the upset here at home tonight. Kick is away for Dorgan. Taken back up to the 30-yard line. Nearly popped that one through, Matt. 1st down and 10 from the 30. Luther Gond on the return. And A.J. Caswell just struggling tonight, Matt. 13 of 22. He's got 5 picks. Completion percentage is under 60%. That defense is doing what they can to keep him in it. 6 sacks for the defense, including 3 by Jeff Duffy alone, but Caswell not making it easy for them. Trips formation to the top. Caswell safe pass back down to the halfback. Dulworth, that one's good for a loss of 4, 2nd and 14.
I think they need to scratch the Dulworth drop off. It's not really doing anything.
I would
A couple
agree.
of times they've given the ball to him, and he couldn't get the first. It's just the disadvantage of not, signing a great halfback. It's a weakness.
Caswell short drop. Tucks that one down to Dulworth. Dulworth able to gain a couple. It's 2 of the lost yards back, and Matt, A.J. Caswell actually 4 picks. Excuse us. Johnny Pickler with the 1, but the difference is Pickler's thrown a touchdown and Diesel Dawson able to get a touchdown. Being able to even get the field goals off those turnovers. It's got them to where they are right now.
Caswell needs to step up.
Caswell throws on the run again, and inaccurate pass. Throwing on the run, pressure was coming again.
This is some sad offense. I hate the rag on team, so I don't know what's going on. I mean, St. Louis is definitely playing well, but Queen City, there's the plays. They're just not executing them well. And I mean, when your main part of your offense is dumping it down to your lightly paid halfback, it's problematic at best.
4th down and 12. And Ricky Matthews on to punt for the Corsairs. Punt taken up to the 39-yard line where Pickler will get things going back on offense. And, Matt, the play calling has been questionable for Queen City, but, I think they're trying to maybe try a few different things and see what they can get to work against St. Louis. Certainly they game planned for this. Honestly, what I think is happening is Todd Dubstat, Tony Roberto, Shane Masters, and Franco Sonati on that defensive line for St. Louis. They might not have the sack numbers that Queen City's putting up tonight, but they're certainly getting the pressure and getting in Caswell's head. Nice safe out route for Johnny Pickler, throwing to Sean Harrelson, complete for a gain of nearly 10. Will bring up a 2nd and inches.
And again, Pickler hasn't made the big mistakes. He's gotten sacked a ton, but hasn't thrown the picks that would, pick sixes or picks in the red zone, such and such. Their only major blunder is not scoring that touchdown on that goal line situation. But besides that, Queen City has had many more mishaps so far in this game.
High formation. Dawson takes a handoff up the middle, gets the 1st down in Queen City territory. 1 minute to go here in the 3rd quarter.
There you go. Dawson just doing what he needs to, bleed some more clock. I know it's kind of early to say bleeding the clock, but man, time runs quick in that 4th quarter.
Yeah, bleeding the clock with a full quarter to go might be a little bit of aggressive, but I know what you mean. Dawson taking the handoff this time, Matt, right at the line. Goes nowhere on that one.
This is when Queen City's front 7 needs to step up and say, we got to stop this guy. We got to stop Dawson and make Pickler throw the ball, although that hasn't gone too well. If Pickler hasn't gotten sacked, he's made some great throws, so this front 4 needs to get there.
Pickler going deep down the left-hand side. That one's caught, a jumping catch up to the 31-yard line, and that's how we're going to end the 3rd quarter of play. A fresh set of downs for St. Louis. Matt, they're in the lead and in control in this one. We'll see what they can do when we get the 4th quarter started. You are watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports, and for the fans, stay tuned. And welcome back. We've got a Gateway Coliseum upset brewing here. Johnny Pickler under center. First down and 10 from the Queen City 31-yard line. Dawson takes the handoff, running up the middle, cuts through the defender, and tackled all the way up at the 13-yard line. Matt, we've seen him trucking through several people tonight.
And again, that's something Queen City can't bring to the table, Mike. They don't have a guy that can bust off runs like this. There's, it's a 10-yard run. All of a sudden, oh, here comes another 10, 15 more yards.
Well, and that's getting back to that previous time that they met where Queen City just throttled the Gladiators. The reason they did it was because Ash Odom, their running back at the time, just went off. And, hundreds of yards, multiple touchdowns, and the quarterback for St. Louis at the time threw multiple picks. Now it's kind of the exact opposite. Dawson with another handoff. Almost went into the end zone on that one. Gained 6, but look at him go, Matt. He's got 153 yards and a touchdown. He's averaging still almost 8 yards per carry. And it's A.J. Caswell of the Corsairs that's thrown 4 picks. So it's a complete flip, other than obviously, the score differential's not nearly as high, but still St. Louis in the lead. Dawson takes the handoff again. Met at the line. Powerful tackle by Afalabi. 3rd down and 3.
Honestly, if it's me, and I'm usually aggressive, but with this state of affairs with the Queen City offense, I just give it to Dawson one more time. Roll the dice. If he doesn't get it, kick your field goal. Let's just see something you just can't, audible, too. But I would just give him the ball here and see what happens.
Johnny Pickler agrees. Matty hands the ball off to Dawson, leaning towards the first down marker, and his knee must have hit as he is just shy. It'll be a 4th down and 1.
Man, again, I'm surprised. I'd run out the offense there and try to get him to jump off. But I guess they're just going to say, we're not going to mess around. We're going to take our 3 and say, all right, Queen City, let's see if you can actually score a touchdown.
Your move. Field goal from 21 yards out from the right hash. That one's good. They'll spot it from 20. Brings the score up to 23-6. And Matt, the points per game on offense. Look at seasons 11, 12, and 13 when they won a grand total of 2 games per season. Second to last in points per game. Coming into tonight, top 10. They're rated 6th in points per game at 26.9, and they've already got 23 in this one. And the defense is playing absolutely stout.
Although if they average their old points per game, they'd still be winning.
This is true. When you hold an opponent to 6, it's a rare day to lose, except for that game that we called earlier on in the season, Matt, that had a final score of 6-3.
Oh, God. Okay.
Bad memories. Not a lot of scoring in that one. If you love defense and you love the occasional field goal, that was the game for you. We've had some really high-scoring ones. We've had some really low-scoring ones here in the Simulation Football League. Caswell under center. Hands the ball off to Jet Zero. Zero is going to gain a yard on that one. You can follow the Simulation Football League on social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and more, all at Simulation FL. Make sure to catch more content like The Kramer Show. You can see game highlights and more by subscribing to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a moment of action when we are not on television. And Matt, if you or anyone else out there has never checked out TikTok, our director of social media, Andy Hamilton's put up quite a few rather funny videos recently worth checking out. 3rd down and inches coming up after that toss.
Are they funny in general or just funny to Andy? That's the
it's just funny watching Andy trying to be funny.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
No,
he struggles hard.
They're pretty creative. One actually creeped me out a little bit, but it was funny. Zero with the handoff, and the St. Louis defense is able to stuff him behind the line. Loss of 1 will bring up a 4th down and 1, and Matt, they've got to go for this.
Well, it looks like they're waving the white pirate flag. Punting this.
They are going to punt this one away. Matt, they've already secured a playoff berth. They, I'm sure, would love to get up to that number 2 seed, but do you think at some point you're just content to okay, we're in the playoffs, let's just be there?
No, you don't want to let off the gas. It's like a team coming off of a bye week and just being flat. You don't want to be flat. going into the playoffs.
Because I mean,
Look
you're
at
right,
the
because they
seeding,
certainly could
drop.
fall. Yeah, they could drop like a stone out of that top 5. Right behind them, the Kings, the Predators, and Vultures at 7-4. Corsairs sitting at 7-3, and look at that, Matt. The Sparrows also at 7-4. So you could go from the number 3 spot theoretically all the way down to number 7. Just by losing this game, depending on tiebreakers and such. So, yeah, you definitely don't want to take your foot off the gas. Kind of surprised they didn't go for it there. Pickler under pressure, but gets the ball away. Jumping catch by Cody Scott. First down and 10 from the 46.
And this offense is humming. Pressure coming again, but they've just been running great plays. I mean, look at that. Scott just, showing you why he's one of the best tight ends in the league, just skying for that one. There's 4 Corsairs around him, but just a good throw by Pickler. Again, Mikey's done his job. He's been that game manager, maybe a little bit more that I talked about. Dawson's been productive, and their defense is completely shut down Queen City's offense, which I didn't mention, but I mean, always a great bonus.
Pickler in the gun, 5 wide on the field. Pickler throws. That one is also caught, hauled in by Nick Finch. First down and 10 from the 41, and that's going to bleed at least another couple of minutes off the clock, Matt. Visit sector6apparel.com for all league and team apparel, including hoodies, t-shirts, team jerseys, and more. Sector 6 is the official apparel provider of the Simulation Football League. Man, I kind of thought they would do a little bit of Diesel Dawson here. Oh, pressure coming. Duffy hits him, but he still somehow completes the pass. My goodness, that one just floated. I think the receiver saved the bacon for him there. And, of course, guess who? Chase Earl once again.
Well, their colors are kind of like Irish. They're maybe a little luck of the Irish. They're a little, the fighting Irish.
That's right, the green and gold. Trying to summon their inner luck, I guess.
Must have found a 4-leaf clover before this game.
Offset I formation. Pickler's still going to throw. Hit as he releases it again, but Finch hauls it in for him. Another first down up to the 22. I think they put multiple 4-leaf clovers, man. I don't know how they're doing this.
Pickler gets abused, and he continues to get abused, but he's he's making plays.
Yeah, he's just standing there like, it's fine.
That's how you win a game.
He gets hit every time. He's like, no big deal. Dawson takes the handoff to give Pickler a breather, and wow, just trucks through the defender all the way up to the 13-yard line. Not quite a first, but pretty darn close.
Oof. I think I heard a death rattle of one of the Corsairs. Maybe it was a loose sword, but this is, as bad as that thumping was for St. Louis, the prior matchup. I mean, even though it's not as big of a score, it feels about just as much of a thumping the other way.
Dawson runs up the middle and gets another fresh set of downs. Under 5 minutes to go in this ball game. If you're new to the SFL, get your spot in the SFL minor league today to hashtag claim your spot and begin your SFL career. Subscriptions are going fast and the inaugural kickoff begins in April. Matt, it's less than a month away. First pro subscribers get first priority on choosing their position, so don't delay your career another second. We can't wait for you to hashtag make an impact. I formation here on first down and 10.
Just run the clock. Run Dawson, why not? Even if he doesn't get anything, which he gets some.
He gets a couple. Up to 169 on the game now.
Run, and then kick your field goal. And I mean, I don't see. Usually, I'm Mr. Optimistic, but I don't see a way Queen City can get back in this game because they haven't shown. I mean, they haven't scored a touchdown. They have to show the ability to, go deep, but it just hasn't worked out.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, under 4 minutes to go, they can't seem to stop St. Louis no matter what they do. Any more points on the board for the Gladiators could be the final nail in the coffin for the Corsairs tonight. Dawson takes the handoff and only gains a couple. Avery King with the tackle at the 7-yard line.
Looking a little slow, but, being careful with the ball. Doesn't want to get a fumble picked up, run to the end zone. That'd be the worst thing for St. Louis is to get some kind of turnover. Queen City runs it back for a touchdown. So just, again, just give it to Duck.
3 minutes to go in this ball game. 3 minutes from the first time in franchise history the Gladiators could get 5 wins in the season, and they can taste it at this point. It's just moments away. Dawson takes the handoff. That'll bring an end to this drive with the tackle at the 6-yard line, but a field goal will give them a 20-point lead, Matt.
Yeah, and more importantly, the clock is just. You called me out a little bit earlier in the game for bleeding clock, but you know what? It's bled.
It has indeed bled. It has indeed bled. This has been a 9-play drive so far that's taken up a humongous chunk of this fourth quarter.
I said the fourth quarter goes fast. I was not wrong.
Field goal is up and good from 23 yards out. 26-6 is the score with 2:08 to go in the ball game. Here is the playoff picture, the bottom half. So with St. Louis winning, they will be 5-6, and so is half the league, basically. The Storm, the Aztecs, the Night Wings, the Desperados, and the St. Louis Gladiators will all be 5-6. So tiebreakers all come into play, but they have to win tonight. They have to win next week, and that will give them the best shot. It also depends on what all those other teams do in addition.
As sometimes they say, they need a little help.
They might need a little bit of help. But, Matt, I don't know that we've ever sat in Week 11 here in the SFL and said St. Louis Gladiators and playoffs in the same sentence without adding in "are out of." You know, I mean, this has just been a great season for them so far, and they're still in the hunt.
Well, I've definitely sat in Week 11, but yeah, definitely not saying.
you do a lot of sitting.
Look.
Chris Curtis finally on a deep corner route gets big yardage, and that'll bring us up to the 2-minute warning. Minute 59 to go in this one. You are watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. Man, I don't know if Queen City can mount a comeback, but if they're going to, that's one way to get it started. We'll find out after this. Stay with us. Minute 59 to go in the ball game. 26-6. The St. Louis Gladiators have the lead over the Queen City Corsairs. And Matt, the head coach of the St. Louis Gladiators, Gerald Smith, has sent in the backups.
And I hear he's eating some fried chicken on the sidelines.
Eating some chicken right on the sidelines, you say?
Mm-hmm.
I heard it was gumbo, but I could be wrong.
Could be chicken gumbo.
Is there such thing as a fried chicken gumbo?
I don't know. There should be. Sounds delicious.
It actually really does sound pretty good. 2nd down and 10. That one was incomplete.
2nd and 10 from the Storm, 32 yards.
Coming up next, after this ball game concludes, we have one final game here in Week 11. Kickoff will be at about 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Stephen Hacker with that catch up to the 38-yard line and scooting out of bounds after a 3rd down and 5. The Las Vegas Fury will be in Arizona to take on the Scorpions. Our own Andy Hamilton and Ryan Caudell will be on the call. That will be aired on ESN and for the fans' Twitch page as well.
I think that's another game for the 5-win sweepstakes. I think both teams are at 4. So no matter what happens, we'll have another 5-win team in the mix.
Deep down the middle, and that one's nearly intercepted again. That would have actually been pick number 5 if he could have hauled that one in. Nathan Blake in on the coverage.
Have you ever seen Queen City struggle this much on offense? I can't remember.
Not that I recall, no.
I mean, I've seen some losses that were not maybe not so close, but 6 points.
Crowd here on their feet in St. Louis, willing their defense to get a stop. Caswell, quick pass over the middle. James Matthew Jr. with the completion. First down and 10.
All right, go deep.
Go into the hurry up. In the good formation for it. 5 receivers on the field. Going deep to Curtis. Chris Curtis into the end zone. Might be a little bit too late, but he gets a touchdown for the Corsairs.
Yeah, I mean, might be too late, but it's a moral victory, I guess. I just don't know where this was. I think he
Earlier
tried
on.
to throw a deep pass to Curtis once it got picked, but those corner routes are usually pretty deadly, and I haven't seen him run them back to back like that, or at least in the same series all game long.
Chris Curtis now with 95 yards and a touchdown in an otherwise quiet offensive outing for the Queen City Corsairs. Caswell, 20 of 32, 200 yards. He's got a touchdown and 4 picks. The extra point is up and good in there. So 13-point ball game. We'll see the onside kick here coming up after this. And
would be crazy if they recovered this, threw a corner route, scored a touchdown, and then if they did that, still had all 3 timeouts. And even if they didn't recover the onside, they'd still could stop the clock and get the ball back again. But one step at a time.
Yeah, starts with this. We'll see. Kick is away and easily fielded by the Gladiators. So they will get the ball at the Queen City 40-yard line. And I would expect to see, at this point, Matt, a heavy dose of Diesel Dawson.
Yes. Now you got to use your timeouts, and you can't let up a first down. So it's a tough situation for Queen City here. Stack that box.
Ball is handed off. Diesel Dawson does indeed take the handoff. Gets a loss of 1 on the play.
Yep, step 1 complete for Queen City. 2 more steps to go if they keep tackling Dawson behind the line. I'm not sure if St. Louis is going to take the risk of throwing a pass. Imagine if that was picked off for 6. That'd be an adventure.
Yeah, that would certainly flip the script a little bit here if Pickler does throw a pass and if there was indeed a pick 6. But I think we're going to see another handoff, and indeed we do. Gets the lost yard back, and Queen City will burn their second timeout.
Pretty much all Queen City has to do is not let them get a first down because St. Louis does not have a highly paid kicker, so they're likely just to punt it away. Unless it's 48 or less.
Wow. Yeah, this one would be, if they were to kick from right here, it'd be a 58-yard field goal try. I think that's a big ask of this kicker. Dawson takes the handoff, gets a couple of yards up to the 38, but even a 55-yarder, I'm thinking no. If I'm St. Louis, I'm going to punt this one and try to see if we can pin them deep and see where Queen City would be able to start off, make it more difficult for them.
Yeah, I don't know. Dorgan doesn't have that kind of range, but that was a big job for the punter here. You don't want to give Queen City the ball with, on the 20, good field position, decent chunk of time left. You can pin him inside the 5. That'd be a huge boost.
Punt is away for the Gladiators. It'll bounce down at the 7 and rolls into the end zone. Almost died at the 1, but a little bit too much for Zabrowski. So Queen City will get it at their own 20-yard line, 80 yards from the end zone. Matt, a field goal does them no good here. So we're in 4-down territory the rest of the way out.
I think Gerald Smith put his gumbo down and put the starters back in.
I think he may have. He's like, oops, busted out the gumbo a little too soon. 3 wide, a tight end and a running back on the field for the Corsairs. Caswell in the gun. Caswell looking, fires over the middle, almost picked off. Tip drill, incomplete. Colin Douglas had his eyes on that one after it was tipped up in the air by Nathan Blake. 2nd down and 10.
I know the starters are back, but I would go back to that corner route. It was successful, and it's probably the deepest play in your arsenal. You need to move this quick.
2nd and 10 from the store, 20-yard line.
Empty backfield for the Corsairs. Caswell, short drop, fires over the middle, straight into a a St. Louis defender. Hit Nathan Blake right in the back. 3rd down and 10.
Well, some people take an error to the knee. Blake took a ball to the back,
He did indeed.
but he's still alive. That's the important.
Stephen Hacker, the intended target. Matt Hacker with only 3 receptions for 24 yards so far tonight. Had 6 receptions for 99 yards last week. Was the leading receiver for the Corsairs in their loss to Atlanta. Both of these teams coming off of losses at home. Caswell firing deep over the middle, tipped and incomplete, trying to hit Chris Curtis once again. We bring up a 4th down, less than a minute to go, and Matt, they're going to have to go for this.
Say they went slant post instead of post corner, and it didn't work out as well. They need to go corner.
Crowd on their feet once again. If their defense can get a stop here, it is all over, and St. Louis will definitely come out of here with the victory. Caswell to throw. One final play to see if they can keep it alive, and they cannot. Incomplete. Stephen Hacker was the intended target, and Matt, that is going to do it for us in this one. St. Louis, for the first time in franchise history, will get 5 victories on the season, and Matt, they're not done yet. They're going to be going into next week looking for victory number 6 and finish with a 500 record.
Yeah, they can, instead of busting out the bubbly, they can bust out the gumbo again. They are safe.
Time to bust out the gumbo as Johnny Pickler heads back out onto the field to kneel the ball down and finish this game off. 26-13 will be the final score in this one. Johnny Pickler, 19 of 25, 229 yards, a touchdown, and 1 interception, a 100.3 quarterback rating. Matt, you mentioned it in the opener. You wanted to see, if I remember right, you wanted to see a heavy dose of Diesel Dawson and have him kind of be the workhorse and have Johnny Pickler be a game manager, right?
Yeah, efficient game manager.
Yeah, and that's what you got. You got 175 yards out of Diesel Dawson on 30 rushing attempts. He's got a touchdown. And then Pickler, he didn't make any mistakes, really. That one interception that he has on the stat line for today was the Hail Mary throw to end the first half just to see if they could get something going. And yeah, that was indeed it. So final kneel down in this one. Your final score will be Queen City 13, St. Louis 26. The first time in 5 meetings that they have been able to beat the Queen City Corsairs. Matt, your final thoughts in this one?
And like I was saying, Pickler played his game. Mike, he got sacked a ton, but he didn't make any major mistakes. Let Dawson do his thing. Let the team, the defense help him out. And man, that defense, though, they're a little bit off my radar, but they just showed up big time. All those picks, 4 turnovers.
Yep. 4 turnovers and the rushing yards too tell the story, I think.
Well, 402 to 228, almost doubling them up offensively. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Every
agreed.
time they went deep, they just couldn't. Queen City couldn't convert unless the backups were in.
Wow. St. Louis really had Queen City's number today, getting the first victory over the Corsairs and the first time they've ever gone with 5 wins in a season. Congratulations to St. Louis and congratulations to Queen City. They are still in the playoffs. It's just going to be a matter of where in that picture they are going to sit. Coming up next, the Las Vegas Fury head to Arizona to take on the Scorpions. Andy Hamilton and Ryan Caudill on the call. That game will start in just 22 minutes' time. 26-13, the final score in this one. Simulation Football League action will return for one final week of regular season play. Week 12 starts Saturday, April 4th at 12 p.m. noon Eastern Time with a pair of games. Matt, thoughts on player of the game? Could it be anybody but that man right there, Diesel Dawson?
The Diesel engine, as we called him, he just running over people, kind of the heart of this offense. And like I say, Pickler is doing enough, making great plays, and really, dealing with pressure so much better than Caswell did. I saw a replay there. Caswell kind of shuffling his feet, throwing an off-ball pick. It just wasn't to be.
You know, we did the player spotlight on those two quarterbacks, A.J. Caswell and Johnny Pickler. Talked about how one was the wily old vet and one was the young gunslinger. They kind of looked like they might have flipped roles today. Johnny Pickler acting like the wily old veteran. Diesel Dawson is indeed your player of the game. 30 rushing attempts, 174 yards, and a touchdown. This has been a presentation of the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports. And for the fans, for Matt Wilson, Gerald Smith, our commissioner and producer Cameron Irvine, and everyone here at the Simulation Football League, I am Mike Daggs saying thank you for joining us. Good night, everybody, and stay tuned for our second game on Monday night starting in 20 minutes.